Hi guys, it's Dr. Pam, and I'm here with this week's burning question. To give raw food or not to give raw food? That is the question. It really is the question. I was talking with a friend of mine this weekend, and she's a really good friend of mine. We started off as I was her doctor for her pets, and then we morphed into a friendship. She worked for me for a while, and we've been friends for years. And she said something that caught my interest, and she said, "Yeah, I know you don't like raw food anymore." And I thought, what? And so I thought I'd take a minute to clarify that. I asked her what she meant by that. And she says, you feed a lot of cooked food now. So I'm going to say, whoa, let's pull back on the reins and let me clarify that for you because I think it's super important. If you were to tell me, hey, Dr. Pam, I have the perfectly healthy dog and I need the best possible diet there is on the planet, I'm going to tell you raw food. It's more complex than that today than it was 20 years ago when I started feeding raw food. 20 years ago, I put everybody on raw food, and about 3 to 5% of the patients did not do well, but the majority really did well. They thrived on it. And what's happened through the years is we have a lot of dogs that are kibble fed generation after generation and after generation. And remember, where mama is when babies are in utero is where babies start. So if mama is deficient, babies start deficient. You don't get a do-over card when you're born. You basically start with what you've got. And then over time, you create more accrued deficiency, right? Now, can you undo that deficiency? Absolutely. But that happens. And so now, in the last 5 years, I noticed that there were a lot of younger dogs that should have made the transition like that to raw food who didn't. And so the question is why? And when you study in functional medicine, you realize that there's a lot that goes into digesting, specifically things like protein, raw protein to be particular, but protein, fats, carbohydrates. There's certain things that have to be present, and there's certain things in dogs and cats that aren't present that we humans have. So we can't eat the same diet. And what's happened through the years is we're getting a lot more deficiency. So if I have a puppy, I'm going to put them on raw food. But understand this, if they don't do well on the raw food, it isn't the raw food. It usually indicates that your puppy or your kitten is having some issues digestively and needs a little boost, okay? The goal with these youngins is to fix it and get back to the raw food. I use cooked food. Yes, I use cooked food. Why? The last 5 years I've been working out of a specialty center. I've seen more internal medicine cases than you can imagine. You can't go into cases that have diseases with raw food, especially without oversight, but really with raw food. So where do you start? That's why I use a lot of cooked food. I pull it back, I use cooked food, I meet them where they are digestively, and then I take them forward. And if I can move them into a raw food diet because they're healthy, then great. But if they've got inflammatory bowel disease or Cushing's disease or some other type of disease process and they've never ever had raw, that is not the diet I'm going to start with. So my love for raw food runs deep and strong. The cases dictate on what we actually need to feed. And if you have a young dog, start them out on raw food. I do a little transition protocol. I'll talk about it tomorrow in our virtual coffee talk. I do a transition protocol for 6 to 8 weeks, not from the food standpoint, but from a supplemental standpoint. And then I move over into the full-on raw, right? Without the specific supplements that we use as a transition. Then these dogs are healthier, they do better, they look better, they feel better, they have more energy for the longest period of time. But if you come to me with a 10-year-old dog that has Cushing's disease and hypothyroidism and also epilepsy, I'm not going to put that dog on a raw food diet if they've been on kibble for 10 years. It's not going to happen. So you have to meet them where they are. If you don't know where they are, cooked food is a great starting point, and then you can transition and see how they do. But give them what they need, then show them where to go, okay? So I hope that helps. It's really more complex than my love, because if it were all about what I wanted and what I loved, everybody on the planet would be on a raw food diet, fresh, whole food, raw food diet. But the truth is we've got to meet people and pets where they are and take them where we want them to go. Okay? I hope that helps. You guys take care and have a good day. Bye.